Well, I figure out how to do this. This is just a test, so this is me going testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. All right. My cat likes to put her feet in water, so her paws are soaking wet. All right, I'm going to go ahead and try a little reading and see how this goes. I don't have the ability, I should say, to pause and redo if I mess something up or I'm interrupted. So we'll see how this goes. Down on one knee, ripping at the neckline of my linen shirt, I scanned the room. My thought was that after such a glitzy performance, the caster would be vain enough to stick around and admire his work. But my reasoning was flawed, or just plain wrong, because no one was left standing. Then a voice penetrated the haze in my head. You will not find me with your eyes. 'Twas unfamiliar, soft, and overtly feminine, and I was shocked. After what happened with Taryn Rowe, I expected my Shinri enemy to be a man. We are not enemies, she assured me. This spell was not meant for you. Her words were gentle, her voice soothing and breathy. I would have enjoyed the sound if I weren't suffocating. Air, I gasped. You are angry. Air! Of course. A second later my lungs filled, so harsh and abrupt it knocked me to the floor. Better? She asked. No, I croaked out. Through the spell, I felt her bristle. You're injured? Let me heal you. She didn't wait for my consent. Before I could get a word out, a soft blanket of healing magic rippled across my skin, heavy and warm like wool. It was calming. I could feel it lulling me to sleep. I could hear her voice willing me to close my eyes, telling me that the pain would be gone when I woke. But when I woke, Malak and everyone else would be dead. Stop, I said, fighting the grogginess. Him first! I tossed my aching head toward Malak. He's Langorian. I know what he is, and I want him alive. I want them all alive. You would save those that tried to kill you. Not all of these people were a part of that. Those without weapons would have stood by and watched you die without a moment's guilt. I see no difference. I do. After a small delay, her healing spell lifted, and I felt awful again. I crawled the short distance to Malak's side and struggled to pull him up onto my lap. Weak, strangled sounds were coming out of him. Very little air was going in. What are you waiting for? I shouted at her. I swear, woman, if he dies, you die! Make your choice! There was no response. I was hoping the silence didn't mean she was going to call my bluff. Unmistakably, the woman owned a magical stamina that far surpassed mine. If I went after her with a spell and failed, I'd be at her mercy. If I went after her with my newfound access to the crown of stones, I wouldn't fail, but my conscience was full enough without adding a tavern full of deaths to the tally. There was only one other way I could think of to handle her. It was desperate and foolish. It was something I shouldn't even consider. Carefully, I slid Malak to the floor. I stood up and addressed the woman in Shinri. Keta Runarina! Do you hear me? Keta Runa! I took a deep breath and said, an oath for a life, translating the words into Raylan to remind myself what a complete horrible idea it was. Grant my request. Save these people. I offer you gratitude twofold, I threw in, as in the ways of the Empire. For their lives you would bind yourself. He just stuck on it. My thought was that after such a glitzy performance, the caster would be vain enough to stick around and admire his work. But my reasoning was flawed, or just plain wrong, because no one was left standing. Then a voice penetrated the haze in my head. You will not find me with your eyes. 'Twas unfamiliar, soft, and overtly feminine, and I was shocked. After what happened with